In Maryville.
Are you married, having kids?
Yes, I've been married for 32 years, and I have 3 kids and 6 grandkids.
What are your children's ages?
31, 28, and 26.
Okay. Are you employed?
Yes, at Waters State Community College in Sevierville.
What do you do there?
A custodian.
Okay. I want to draw your attention to September the 14th, 2019. Did you have an occasion to be at UT Medical Center?
Yes.
Can you tell me why you were at UT Medical Center?
My son had been hurt at the fair in the bull riding that night.
Okay. And what were the nature of his injury?
He had a cut on his forehead with 10 stitches and a broken collarbone.
Okay. So when you were at UT Medical Center, were you in the emergency waiting room area?
Yes.
Okay. Did you have an occasion to go in the restroom?
Yes.
Back up real quick. Do you recall about what time you arrived at UT?
I don't remember the exact time.
Okay. So, but once you're at UT, you're in the emergency room waiting area, and then you go into the women's restroom, I presume.
Yes.
Tell me about that. Tell me about like the restroom as you recall it, the setup.
Okay, when I went in, there was like maybe 3 stalls, and I was the only one in there, so I went to the back stall and used the bathroom. Then I heard somebody come in, and I saw him like stand at my door, and I just felt that was a little different.
So when that person's standing outside your stall door, is it just still you and that other person in the bathroom? Okay. What happens next?
I opened the bathroom stall to go out, and there's a lady standing there, and she has a phone in her hand.
Can you describe that lady to me?
She had blonde hair. She had a Michael Kors backpack.
Did you see that lady in the courtroom today?
Yes.
Could you point her out and describe what she's wearing, please?
I'll have to stand. She's wearing a black top.
Okay. You want to make a record reflect she's a Democratic defendant? So you exit the stall. You see this individual. What happens next?
She's trying to hand me a phone, and she's like, please take my phone and just throw it anywhere.
Did she tell you why she wanted to get rid of her phone?
I asked her why, and she said a man had come into her house and shot her daughter, and that she was needing to get rid of her phone because the cops were going to take it.
Were there any other reasons she said she might want to get rid of that phone to you?
She had mentioned something about selling drugs, and she said the cops would think she had something to do with it.
Okay. Do you recall this individual's demeanor when you're interacting with her?
She was just nervous, acting and fidgety.
Okay. Did you take that phone from her then?
No, I didn't.
What did you do?
I just kept telling her, I'm sorry, I don't want to be a part of it. Then I went on up to wash my hands, and she kept following me up there, like begging, please, please, just help me. And
did you exit the bathroom with her?
No.
So when you exit the bathroom, was she still in that bathroom?
Yes.
Okay. Once you exit the bathroom, what do you do next?
I had went over there, and I sat by my husband, and I told him what had happened in the bathroom.
Okay. Do you know what your husband did with that information?
He went and got one of the cops and had him come over and talk to me.
Okay. And did you talk to a law enforcement officer that evening?
Yes.
Okay. That's the witness, Rob.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Sands. You may step down. Have you convinced your son that he shouldn't get on the back of any more bulls?
Yes, he's not gone anymore.
Okay. Congratulations. All right, if you would ask Ms. Sands to step out, please. You'll probably be called back in here in just a few minutes, Ms. Sands, once the jury comes in. All right, let me hear your argument. General, why do you believe that the evidence, obviously there's no question about the fact that this defendant attempted to solicit someone to take her phone. That's clearly admissible proof. The argument, as I understand it, is that there should be no mention of the fact that she suggested that the cops might find something to do with drug transactions on the phone. Am I correct in that assumption?
That is correct, Your Honor, because the motion that they filed on 404B was specifically about the other talk about drug transaction that we dealt with last Friday.
All right, let me hear your argument, General.
Your Honor, I think as we heard in the prior hearing on Friday, that there in fact are text messages that evening involving drug transactions, specifically with Mr. Key. And this is the defendant's statement. She's telling this individual to get rid of the phone, and that is one of the reasons she is saying she wants this phone disposed of. So I think it certainly goes to her motive and the state's theory about this case. Text messages, I think the court's already ruled that involving Joe Key are coming in. So I think her testimony is consistent with the introduction of that text message. Again, that's what she's telling this individual, why she wants to get rid of that phone. So I think that is relevant to this case. Specifically, I mean, she's given multiple false reports, and here, again, she's saying someone shot her daughter, and maybe something to do with drugs, and that's why she wants to get rid of the phone. So I think it is relevant, and I think it should be admissible.
Mr. Whalen, anything else?
I fail to see how the talk of wanting to get rid of the phone because there may be something about drugs on it fits into their theory of the case, when the theory of the case is that she left the firearm where the child could get a hold of it, and the child did get a hold of it and shot his sister. So I don't know how this has any probative value and makes any element of the charge of first-degree murder, or even clearly wanting to get rid of it. It goes to the tampering, but it doesn't. The fact that there may be some drug talk going on there doesn't make that more or less likely. I mean, she's bent it and put it in the sink.
Well, the damning evidence, for lack of a better way of putting it, is the effort to discard the phone and her desperate attempts to have someone else take the phone and do something with it. Why does the concern that she has over the police finding something about drugs on her phone when her daughter's body is not yet cold, why doesn't that go directly to her state of mind and consciousness of guilt?
Because, Judge, for one, this little procedural issue is that they did not file a notice of 404B to introduce that.
Show me where in the rule they have to do that.
Why did we have an argument last Friday, Judge, about the other drug incident? I mean, we can't say that yeah, they have to put us on. This is a prior bad act, right?
No, it's an admission by your client.
But it's also a prior bad act. So under 404B, they got to give me notice. They knew that. That's why they gave me notice on the other incident. So we can't have trial by ambush by giving notice on one incident and not on the other one, and then just throw it up here and say, well, it kind of helps our theory. No, it prejudices the jury beyond its probative value, and for that reason, it's inadmissible.
I think in the grand scheme of things, General, what you're eliciting from this witness, the fact that she says something about drugs on her phone, is not very significant. I'll allow you to put it in if you want to, but the devastating proof from this witness is about the fact that this defendant, while her daughter is in another part of that hospital, is desperately trying to discard her phone because she doesn't want the police looking at it. So, but it's in this court's judgment, the fact that she's doing that is highly probative. The fact that she makes a statement about her reason for doing so, when you consider it in conjunction with the fact that we're going to hear from another witness who I've already heard from, that she had been texting on that very phone on the way to the hospital about getting rid of that gun, that's very incriminating proof. So it's highly probative, it's highly relevant, it's coming in. I will allow the state to elicit the testimony, the admission she makes about drug dealing, because I think it goes directly to her state of mind. And which, I mean, the whole central issue here, folks, is was she negligent in how that gun was handled and allowing the one child to get the gun and potentially and actually fatally harm the other. So it's relevant, it's coming in. The court clearly finds that whatever unfair prejudicial effect is greatly outweighed by the probative value. But I'll leave it to your sound discretion on whether or not you want to put that part of the testimony in, because to me that's, in the grand scheme of things of what this witness will testify, it's rather insignificant. All right. Anything else we need to take up pre-trial before we bring the jury back in? I don't know. We got all of them here? Okay. You got all our exhibits, Lisa?
Yes, sir.
I just want to be clear on the issue of the photographs that were coming in. It's not because the computer was up. It was because they were using them with the witness without laying a basis for entering them. I thought they were going to do that, but we had several of these photographs published during direct examination without the photo being introduced.
I don't recall that, but obviously authenticate the photograph before you introduce it. All right, we ready to bring the jury in? Get them lined up. for the jury. All right, everyone may have a seat. Waive the call for the state. For the defense. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you had a good evening. We are still in the state's case in chief. General, you may call your next witness.
Preston Tucker, Your Honor.
Recall Trooper Tucker. Around and have a seat, please. You're still under oath.
Good morning, Trooper Tucker. Just pick up where we left off. So you transported Ms. Howington from Balsam to UT Medical Center.
That's correct.
Okay. And is UT Medical Center in Knox County?
It is.
Okay. Once you transported her to UT Medical Center, what do?
I get out of my vehicle, Mrs. Howington gets out of the vehicle, and we proceed into the ER lobby waiting area.
Okay. So are you describe the lobby waiting area to the jury?
There's multiple different check-in areas. It's pretty hectic. It's always usually crowded. And off of that, there's various hallways where you go for the different rooms. Then there's like a family crisis room kind of where you get updates about family members that are needing intense care.
Were you waiting with Ms. Howington during this period?
Yes, we're kind of in the middle of the middle of everything, middle of all the traffic.
Okay. Did at some point she go use the restroom?
She did.
Okay. Then at some point after that, were you approached with information about Ms. Howington's behavior in the bathroom?
Yes, I was alerted to her alerted by a male citizen concerning her actions in the restroom regarding her cellular device.
And what did you do from there with that information?
With that information, I attempted to make contact with her.
How did you do that? How do you attempt to make contact with her?
My first instinct was to get a female nurse to try to go into the restroom for me to try to obtain this cellular device, as cell phones are critical pieces of virtually any investigation in law enforcement. So I wanted to obtain it quickly. Eventually, I just kind of, like a better term, to shimmy my way into the women's restroom.
When you did that, was there anyone else in the restroom?
I don't recall. I know Ms. Howington was in the restroom.
Could you see her?
I did.
What did you do from there?
I demanded her cell phone from her, and I obtained it.
When you obtained that cell phone, can you describe the script or describe the condition it was in?
I know it was in the off setting, and it was not on. It was not powered on.
What did you do with that cell phone from there?
I alerted the detectives, talked to Detective Riddle or Wardlaw over the radio, and just let them know that I had the phone, that I believed that the defendant had attempted to get rid of the phone, and then they advised me to preserve it, and they quickly came to my location in the hospital.
Okay. So let's circle back. At this point in 2019, you had a cruiser camera and not a body camera?
Correct. We had the old L3 system. Again, by today's standards, it's extremely archaic, low tech in today's time.
And was that in-cruiser camera system operating that evening?
It was.
Have you had an opportunity to review that your in-cruiser camera footage?
I have.
Is it fair and accurate?
It is.
I want to circle back to the time period when you're driving Ms. Howington to UT Medical Center. Do you recall that time period?
I do.
Have you reviewed that period of your cruiser camera?
I have.
Is it fair and accurate?
Yes, sir, it is.
Please. Trooper Tucker, starting here at 21.
Is this introduced?
I'm about to.
Okay.
21.
Introduced, it shouldn't be shown.
Well, he's showing it to him for authentication purposes. Is this your cruiser video?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is this beginning at 21-21, this period going forward?
Yes, sir.
Is it fair and accurate?
It is accurate. Yes, sir.
We'll move this in as the next exhibit.
All right, mark and file, it's number 6.
Move culture on.
You may.
That's just standard radio traffic for the Knoxville Police Department radio channel.
You go ahead and show everybody that. Give me 1 second. Ma'am, I'm going to be transporting one of the female family members to UT Medical Hospital. My starting knowledge is 7.
So I'll pause it here. We're at 21, 22, 28. That male voice, who's that?
Over the radio, sir.
Right there.
Oh, that was my voice, sir. Yes, sir.
6. 21, 22. Ma'am, from what I could hear on the radio, there was a somewhat of a vehicle description, but I'm not exactly sure what it was. Did you see anything, or
Yes.
what did you see?
It was a car slip.
Okay.
So we're just pausing at 21, 22, 24. That female voice, who's that?
That's Miss Howington.
Same as Howington that you identified earlier?
Yes, sir.
Just in the vehicle, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, go ahead.
Like I said, I was on Callahan, and I came here as soon as I could. So what we're going to have happen here is you can check on your child and everything, and we'll keep you updated, okay? And then we're going to stand by for the investigator to come to the hospital, okay? So I guess what I'm saying is, no matter what, we're going to stand by till he gets there. Does that sound okay to you? Okay.
My phone's about to die, though. That's the only thing.
Well, maybe we can work on that for you in the hospital.
Trooper Thomas, we're stopping at 21, 27, 26. Were you able to hear what she was saying there?
Like in that moment in time, or just now?
Just now?
Yeah. She said something to the effect of, "Hey, can you do that for me?" It sounded like to me.
And that's her voice.
That's her voice. Yes, sir.
We'll continue to play, Your Honor.
explain like from everything.
All right, Trooper Tucker. So once you arrive at UT Hospital, you and Ms. Howington enter UT Hospital.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Do you recognize this?
That's the public entrance to the emergency room.
Okay. So is that, again, your cruiser camera?
Yes, sir, it is.
Are you inside UT Hospital at this point?
Yeah, this started the second video. Yes, sir.
Okay. So how does audio pick up if the cruiser's outside a building and you're inside a building? Can you explain how that works?
That technology at the time, it was kind of like a range for the signal. So our belt mic, what gives us audio is a microphone on our belt. Gives you visual is the camera and the dash. They were separate entities. As long as the mic weren't on our belt was in range per se of our vehicle, you'd be able to pick up audio. We're able to hear it because I can park so close to that front door, and we're kind of just inside that wall that we're within that range.
And again, you've reviewed your cruiser footage?
Yes, sir.
And it's fair and accurate?
Yes, sir, it is.
Now we've asked move this into the next exhibit.
So this is a separate CD, or is it still part of the same
It's
CD?
on the same CD, but it's separate click on it.
It's all the same exhibit. Exhibit 6.
So if it picks up other people, does that mean they're close in proximity to you to pick up on that belt mic?
Absolutely. The technology at the time, it was not stellar technology. So if you were hearing somebody else on my mic, they were, I'd say, somewhat close, within a conversational distance.
Request permission, Your Honor.
Yeah.
Again, for the record, we're beginning at 21:48:09.
Enter call now. Enter call. Alright, you got it with that. Alright, you're gonna talk to the doctor. Okay.
So that we're stopping at 21:48:34. So that sound, that creak, and then you're asking for the phone. Explain what's going on right there.
That was after I was alerted to Ms. Howington's actions, and that was me. I believe that was me exiting the restroom. Was the creek? I was already had already entered and was talking to her face to face and obtaining possession of the phone.
We'll continue playing.
What are you doing?
Stopping at 21:48:46. Whose female voice is that?
It's Ms. Howington's.
Continue to play, Your Honor. Pass the witness, Your Honor.
Cross-examination.
Morning, Trooper.
Good morning, sir.
You doing okay up there?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So, when they played that video, Mr. Hammond stopped it a few times and asked you about who the voice was and what they were saying.
Yes, sir.
He did not stop you at 21:34:29, and that when you can clearly hear Miss Howington praying that her baby's okay, right?
Yes, sir.
You heard that clearly.
Yes, sir.
Did you hear her at around 21:31 saying, "Please come to UT. I'm in a police cruiser. They're taking me to the hospital. Please come to UT."
Yes, sir.
And when she was praying to let her baby be okay, did you hear her crying at that point?
Yes, sir. I did.
And then she asked you if you'd heard anything about the condition of her baby,
Yes, sir.
and you told her you didn't know.
Correct, sir.
No further questions. Thank you, Trooper.
You may step down. Thank you, Trooper. You're excused. Call your next witness.
Morning, Sands.
Please. And if you would come around and have a seat in the witness chair, raise your right hand and be sworn. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony about to give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
Have a seat, please. Adjust the microphone if you need to.
Could you state and spell your name for the record?
Yes, Marty Sands, MartySands.
And where do you live?
In Maryville, Tennessee.
Okay. Are you married?
Yes, I've been married 32 years.
You have any children, grandchildren?
3 kids and 6 grandkids.
And what are the ages of your children?
31, 28, and 26.
Okay. Are you employed?
Yes,
Where are
at
you?
Walters State Community College.
Okay. I want to draw your attention to September the 14th, 2019. Did you have an occasion to be at UT Medical Center?
Yes, my son was hurt.
Okay. Can you tell me how your son got hurt?
He was at the fair riding a bull, and he got kicked in the head and had a broken collarbone.
So you went to UT Medical Center so he could get treatment for those injuries?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recall what time you arrived there that evening?
I don't remember.
Okay. Can you tell me where you were once you arrived at UT Hospital, where you were staying?
In the emergency room department.
Okay. Was it just you in there, or were there other
It
people?
was me and my husband, and some of our friends had come.
Were there other people there waiting? Were there family or friends, or was it just you and your family in that emergency room?
Yes, it was a little busy.
Okay. Did you have an occasion to go use the restroom that evening?
Yes.
Can you just tell me about going into the restroom and describe its layout?
I went in to use the restroom. There was probably maybe 3 stalls, and it was empty. There was no one in there, and I went into the last one. And then I had heard somebody coming in, and they come and stood at my door, and I just thought that was a little weird.
Okay. What happened next?
I opened the door to come out, and she's standing there, has a phone in her hand, and tries to get me to take it. She's like, "Please take my phone." And I questioned it, and she said a man had come into her house and shot her daughter, and the cops are going to take her phone, and she needed me to just throw it away somewhere for her.
Did she give you any other reasons why she wanted to get rid of that phone?
She had said something that she sold drugs, and just that the cops were going to take her phone.
Okay. That female that you encountered in the bathroom that evening, you see her in the courtroom today?
Yes, over there in the black shirt.
Can you describe her physical appearance?
Like today, or?
Do you recognize the person that was in the bathroom that evening?
Yeah, she's sitting right there.
Your Honor, may the record reflect she's identified.
Yes, shall.
So she asked you to take her phone. Do you do it?
No, I didn't.
Okay. What do you do from there?
She was just constantly begging me, and I had told her what happened to my son. I told her I was sorry about her daughter, and I just went on to wash my hands, and she just kept following me and like begging, and I was like, "I'm sorry, I'm not going to do it."
Okay. Did you ultimately exit that restroom?
Yes.
Did she exit with you?
No.
Okay. So she stayed in the restroom when you exited?
Yes.
Okay. Once you exit the restroom, what happens next?
I just walked over there and sat down by my husband, and I told him what happened in the bathroom.
Okay. That individual you encountered, Ms. Howington, in the bathroom, do you recall anything about her demeanor?
She was just nervous and like fidgety. She wasn't crying or anything.
Okay. So once you're out, you told your husband what had happened?
Yes.
And do you know what he did with that information?
He went and got one of the cops that was standing around there and talked to them, and they come over and was questioning me.
That's the witness, Your Honor.
Cross-examination.
Good morning, Ms. Sands.
Good morning.
My name is Mike Whalen, and I represent Ms. Howington. I just got a couple of questions for you, okay? Before you ran into Ms. Howington in that bathroom that night, did you know her at all?
No.
Did you know anything about her?
No.
So you don't know how she is normally or anything else, right?
No.
And you were there because your son had been kicked
Hurt.
by a bull.
Yeah, at the fair and the rodeo.
That's got to hurt.
Yes.
I hope he wasn't seriously injured.
He had a broken collarbone, but he's healed.
At the time you encountered Ms. Howington, did you know yet what the condition of your son was?
No, I did not.
What was your state of mind at that point?
I was upset, and
When you're upset like that in that kind of situation, you don't know what happens. You know your son's been injured, but you don't know yet how seriously.
yeah.
What's your thinking like at that point? Clear? Confused?
No, I was just, wanting to go back and see him so I could see for myself that he was all right.
Right. You were concerned
Yes.
because you're a mother, right?
Yes.
Or just a human being. You'd be concerned about a young man getting hurt,
Yes.
right? Thank you, ma'am. No further.
Any further, General? You may step down, Ms. Sands. Thanks for being here. Call your next witness. Everyone may have a seat. Wait the call for the state. For the defense. All right, General, you are recognized. Call your next witness.
The state calls Joe Key.
Come forward and have a seat in the witness stand. And before you do so, if you would raise your right hand and be sworn. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
Have a seat. Adjust the microphone so that you can speak directly into it. Go ahead.
Mr. Key, if you will introduce yourself to the jury, please.
I'm Joseph Key,
And can you spell your first and last name for our court reporter?
Josephkey.
Mr. Key, are you someone that lives here in Knox County?
Yes,
Do you know an individual that's name is Robin Howington?
yes,
Do you see that person here in the courtroom?
yes.
Could you point her out, please?
Right over there in the black shirt.
Your Honor, for the record reflect, he's identified the defendant.
Hey, Joe.
All right, tell the jury, how do you know Miss Howington?
I bought pills from her.
I want to take you back to September of 2019. Okay, in September of 2019, was Miss Howington somebody that you were familiar with?
Yes,
And you indicated that you bought pills from her?
correct.
All right, and explain to the jury what that means.
I bought pills from her for my grandmother, and that's that.
Okay, and do you know what kind of pills it was that you were purchasing from Miss Howington?
Yeah, it was Roxy's.
Okay, and is Roxy's Roxycodone?
Yes,
Okay. Do you recall if on September 14th of 2019, if you had a text interaction with the defendant, Miss Howington?
yes.
May I approach? Let me hand you this packet and ask, do you recognize this text exchange? You can flip through and make sure it's something that you recognize.
Yeah,
And can you tell the jury, is that text messages that you have in front of you communications between yourself and Ms. Howington
yes,
on September 14th of 2019?
yeah.
Your Honor, permission to make this next exhibit and publish it to the jury.
Is that number 7, Lisa?
Yes, sir.
All right, mark and file it as number 7.
If we can have the projector. All right, Mr. Key, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you this packet that we have, this Exhibit 7, and then I'm going to also put up on the screen what you have right in front of you, okay? And then that way the jury can see what you're looking at. So, this text exchange, this is, are you the person that's in gray or the person that's in purple
It's blue.
or blue?
The gray.
Okay, and so it looks like that it starts with there's some kind of phone call that's made to you. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, do you recall anything specifically, Mr. Key, about that phone call that day?
No, not really.
Okay. Next, and I'm just going to read through. Your phone is cutting out. What did you say? And then it indicates that you respond, I had to get Grayson. I was supposed to put something in your mailbox from Shane. Who is Grayson?
That's my son.
Okay, and so you were indicating to Miss Howington that you had to go get your son?
Correct.
All right, she replies back, can I meet you? Or can I meet you?
Yeah.
Okay. And then the next text exchange starts at the top of this page and goes to the next page. Is that correct?
I'm sorry.
The next thing that you say starts at this page and then goes to the next page. Is that correct?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and go to the next page. It says, I ain't left the crib yet. if you're over this way. Is that what you're saying to Ms. Howington?
Yeah.
And what was the purpose of you trying to meet up with Ms. Howington on this particular occasion?
To buy pills.
She responds back OTW. What does OTW stand for?
On the way.
All right. And then you say, okay. And then she says, here. Is that correct?
Yeah.
All right. Then it looks like there's a missed call where you attempted to call Ms. Howington. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then there's some more communication from you that starts with, hey, what's up? Is that correct?
Yeah.
All right. If we could flip to the next page. And then you also say, yo, what up? Is that correct? Mm-hmm. And then she responds back, what's up? And then this next portion, I want you to explain to me what you all are talking about. I'm going to read it, and then I'm going to ask you to explain what it means, okay? So it looks like it says, not shit, you good. How many was you wanting? My bad, wrong person. On the how many you want part, I need 6 of them. Can you explain to the jury what was happening during that portion of the conversation?
I was buying pills, and I was texting her, my bad, wrong person, that I was talking to my grandmother.
Okay. And so when you said how many was you wanting, you meant to send that to your grandma?
Yes.
And so then you said that, my bad, wrong person, on the how many you want part?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you meant to text Ms. Howington, I need 6 of them?
Yeah.
When you said I need 6 of them, what were you talking about?
Roxy's.
Okay. If you could go to the next page. Then it says, do you got any grays or whites? Is that right?
Yes.
What are grays or whites?
Roxy's.
Okay. And then there's a missed call. Do you remember calling Ms. Howington at that point in time?
Not really.
Okay. Then there's a question mark, and then it looks like the next portion says, I need 10 of them, you good. Was
Yeah.
that you? Okay.
Yeah.
So at this point, have you changed your request from 6 to 10?
Yes.
Do you remember why that was?
Because she wanted a little more.
And then this next text message is from Ms. Howington, is that correct?
Yes.
And she says, go to my house the back way and get my gun out of the bush under the air conditioner. Gavin shot Destiny, then come to UT, and I got you for free. Do you recall receiving that text message from Ms. Howington at around 9:26 p.m.?
Yes.
Okay. When she indicated to go to her house the back way, did you know what that meant?
I assumed like in the alleyway.
Okay. And are you familiar with where her air conditioning is and where her bush is that she was referencing?
Not really.
Okay. When you received this text message asking you to go get her gun out of the bush, what was going through your mind?
I didn't want no part in it.
And then the next text message says the police are there, but if you park in the alley and walk up, you're good because they're in the house. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And so, again, when you receive the second text message, what's going through your mind, Mr. Key?
I'm not doing none of this.
Okay. Did you, in fact, ever go to Ms. Howington's house and try to retrieve a gun or anything of that nature?
Nope.
Okay. Then, following that, it looks like Ms. Howington again attempted to call you at 9:26 p.m. Is that correct?
Yes.
And this one is black in color. So do you recall the phone call actually coming through?
Not really.
Okay. Do you remember receiving a phone? You might not recall what she said or anything like that, but do you remember receiving a phone call from Ms. Howington after she sent you those text messages at 9:26?
Seems like I do, but
Okay.
I mean, it's been so long ago.
Okay. Do you recall being in the courtroom a few days ago when we played an audio of a cruiser where Ms. Howington was talking to somebody on the phone?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recall saying that that was the phone call that you received?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember what Ms. Howington said to you?
Can you do what I asked or something like that?
Okay.
I just remember that from the video.
Okay. Now, when she actually said that, could you hear what she was saying?
No.
Okay. You do recall Ms. Howington calling you, though, and you not understanding what she was saying. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to show you one more picture. Do you recognize this picture?
Yes.
What is that picture of, Mr. Key?
The front of her house.
Okay. If we could make this exhibit number 8.
Martin Powell is 8.
We can publish that picture in the projector. All right, Mr. Key, how many occasions did you purchase pills from Ms. Howington?
A couple.
When you did that, tell me what the routine was.
I would hit her up, go to her house, walk in, hand her the money, and leave.
Okay. And whenever you would go to her house, are you walking or driving?
Driving.
And when you drove, where did you put your car?
Normally in the front right here.
Okay. If you on exhibit number 8 will circle where you put your car.
But are we talking about on a particular day?
I'm asking him about what happened in general.
Are you requesting instruction to the jury about this evidence?
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're hearing evidence which the court is allowing to give proper context to this witness's testimony regarding the text exchange between he and Ms. Howington, the fact that there is an allegation that there may have been some other form The legal activity, specifically the sale or purchase of narcotics, does not in any way impair Ms. Howington's presumption of innocence in this case. You may not consider it as some form of propensity on her part that if she's done something like this, that therefore she's committed the crimes for which she's presently accused, but it's solely being admitted for the limited purpose of providing proper context for the text messages and the exchange between this witness and Ms. Howington. Everybody understand that? All right, go ahead.
Okay, so on Exhibit 8 where you circled in red, that's where you would typically park.
Yeah.
Now, on September 14th of 2019, did you go to Ms. Howington's house and park outside her residence and walk in and purchase drugs on that particular day?
I don't believe so, no.
Pass a witness.
Cross-examination.
Thank you. Morning, Mr. Key.
Morning.
Sir, you did testify before in this matter, right?
Yes.
And at that time, you were asked how you knew Miss Howington.
Yeah.
And you didn't say, I bought pills from her, did you?
No.
No. What did you say?
What do you mean?
When you were asked last Friday, how did you know Miss Howington, what was your answer?
I met her through a friend.
And what was that friend doing?
I go assume buying pills from her.
Now, Mr. Key, you don't recall coming in here on Friday of last week and saying you met her through a friend who lived in the neighborhood and you were going to get a job cutting her grass because the friend said she paid well. You don't remember saying that?
I said I cut her grass and painted her house.
Right. And
I
you
did odd jobs.
And you met her to do those jobs through a friend.
Yeah.
So you said all that on Friday. At the very beginning of your testimony, how'd you know Miss Howington? That was your response, right?
Yep.
And today, you walk in and they say, how'd you know Miss Howington? I bought pills from her. Right? Why'd you change your story about how you met Miss Howington?
I didn't change my story.
So when you first met Miss Howington, it was just about buying pills.
Yeah, at the beginning, yes. And then as it went on, I did odd jobs.
And did you tell us any of that on Friday?
Yes.
I know it's been a long time ago, 3 days ago. You're saying that your testimony on Friday was that when you first met her, it was about buying pills. You know it was recorded,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You know that was recorded.
Yeah.
And that's your testimony.
Yeah, I bought pills from her and I did odd jobs for her.
And are you still using pills?
Nope.
Were you using Friday?
Nope.
Were you using today?
Nope.
So it's your testimony that when you said, no shit, you're good, you were talking to your grandma.
Yes.
And then when you say, how many of them you want, oh, sorry, wrong person, you were still confused. You thought you were talking with your grandma.
No, I wasn't confused. I knew I was talking to my grandma, but I sent her the wrong message. I meant to send it to my grandma.
Because your grandma had changed her mind about how many pills she wanted at that moment
Yeah.
from 6 to 10.
Yeah.
Grandma wanted those.
Yep.
And you realize it is a felony crime for you to deliver drugs to your grandmother, don't you?
I assume so. I don't know. I don't know what the crime is.
Or to be selling them to anybody else.
Yeah.
And is your testimony here, your sworn testimony under oath, that you were getting pills for your grandmother and no one else?
Yep.
I got one more. You just said when the state asked you about the conversation that you saw the video of from the phone from the police car. Remember that? And you started talking about what she said, right?
Yeah.
And what you said on Friday was you couldn't hear when you were receiving that phone call on September 14th. You couldn't hear anything about the you didn't know what was said, right? Is that,
Yeah.
You have to answer out loud. So
Yeah.
So, have you seen that video again since last Friday?
No.
So that's the only way you knew anything about what that conversation was by watching that video on Friday?
Yeah.
No further questions.
Anything further, General?
Just briefly, Mr. Key, on Friday you did talk about the exact same drug transactions that we talked about today. Is that correct?
Yes.
That's all.
You just changed your story about how you met her, right?
I didn't change my story.
So it didn't go from painting her house and cutting her grass to today being buying pills.
I bought pills from her and I cut her grass and painted her house.
And on the text message that she sent you, she said she asked you to go by there and get that gun
Yeah.
because Gavin shot Destiny, and that was 9 something in the evening.
Yeah.
Thank you. No further questions.
All right, you may step down, Mr. Key. Thanks for being here. Call your next witness.
Mike Rooney.
Mike, good.
Rooney.
Come around here, please, sir. Raise your right hand and be sworn. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Have a seat, please.
Good afternoon, or good morning. Could you state and spell your name for the court record?
It's Michael Rooney, Rooney.
And where do you live?
508 Balsam Drive, Knoxville.
Okay. Where are you employed currently?
Currently at the detention facility for the sheriff's office.
Okay. And what do you do there?
Property clerk.
How long have you been employed there?
2 years.
Okay. So in September 2019, were you employed in Knox County Sheriff's Office?
I was not.
Okay. Circle back. So you reside at 508 Balsam?
Correct.
How long have you lived at that address?
I think it's about 12 years now.
Okay. Is it in Knox County?
It is.
Okay. Do you know a Robin Howington?
I do.
How do you know her?
She moved in, I want to say about 8-9 years ago.
Where did she move into?
To the house next door.
Okay. Directly next door?
Yeah, it's a large lot, but yeah, I think 502 address.
Do you see Robin Howington in the courtroom today?
Yeah.
Could you point around and describe what she's wearing?
Yeah, she's right there in the black shirt.
Not a man directly reflect. I want to draw your attention to September the 14th, 2019. Were you living at 508 Balsam?
I was.
Were you home that evening?
I was.
Can you tell me about being home that evening?
I was just home watching a ball game. My daughter alerted me to some ambulance and fire truck outside, police cars. But prior to that, I had no indication there's anything going on.
Okay.
Mr. Rooney, see if you can move a little closer to that microphone.
Sorry.
Or you can scoot that.
Thank you, Mr. Rooney.
So you said your daughter heard some commotion outside and alerted you?
She'd seen the lights from
Okay.
either the ambulance or the fire truck.
Did you go outside or did anyone come to your door?
Not initially, no. Then after a little bit, the police came to the door asking if we'd seen or heard anything.
Did you hear anything that evening?
No, nothing out of the ordinary.
Okay. So you didn't hear a gunshot or gunshots?
No, sir.
Okay. Do you have a home camera system?
We do.
What type of system is it? Or was it at that time?
It was branding of Zmodo, Z-M-O-D-O. I don't know the model number and stuff like that, but it was in the corner of the porch.
Okay. So was it facing in the direction of Miss Howington's residence?
Yeah, so it caught our front door where we park our cars and then on beyond. So it would have got the front of that house and into that intersection.
Do you know if it was working that night?
It was.
Have you reviewed it?
I reviewed it that night with the officers.
Okay. Is it fair and accurate?
Yeah.
And are the timestamps on the video fair and accurate to the best of your knowledge and belief?
To the best of my knowledge, yes.
Permission to approach, Your Honor?
You may. Ladies and gentlemen, if you need to approach the witness, just approach. You don't have to ask permission.
Take a look at that and tell me if you recognize what I've just handed to you.
Yeah, that's the disc that has the video on it. I just signed it.
Did you have an opportunity to review that?
I did.
And everything's fair and accurate?
Correct.
We've marked it up.
Mark the file, that is number 9.
Permission to publish, Your Honor?
You may. Tell me when it's ready.
We hit the table on the light, Your Honor.
Got it on the lights, please.
So this is your front porch?
Correct.
Okay, so the camera's situated up in the corner,
Correct, yeah.
and it's facing towards Miss Howington's residence?
That's right.
Okay. For the record, we're at 828, 38, 829, I'm sorry. Can we get all the lights on? It's a little...
All right, got some more.
think it goes to the vehicle that does approach order.
I would object to this point. I don't know that this witness, he can authenticate the video in the system. I don't have a problem with that. He's going to talk about what's happening on the video.
I haven't heard anything objectionable yet. It's video from this time was authenticated.
through about 8:58 run.
I'm sorry.
About 4 minutes.
5 minutes. Don't discuss the case. We'll get you back in here in just a moment. I'll rise for the jury.